Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. So we have some more XRP news. Let's begin right here on U.Today. Listen, the SEC just keeps losing. I can't help but laugh. Oh, man. It goes as such. As stated in a brief share by defense lawyer James K. Fallon, the Ripple defendants stated no objection to the SEC's move to seal off some exhibits in their entirety, including those identifying information about the expert. It states that the SEC decided to seal the remainder of the exhibits and its proposed redactions to the opposition letter it filed. Ripple feels the SEC has not satisfied the standards in sealing off the documents. Of course they haven't. SEC, why abide by the rules? Of course, even though you're an enforcement branch of the government who is supposed to abide by and enforce rules. Oh, my goodness, SEC, what is going on here? You guys have a lot of problems. It says, further quote, the SEC has requested redactions of passages. You know what? All these redactions, it tells you something is wrong. And I just imagine, I picture in my head like this giant book of documents that the SEC has to provide to the court, right? And like every page is just blacked out, every single word, every single word. If the SEC has its way, that's how it will be. Every word will be redacted, just a page after page of just blacked out words. Oh man, this actually is quite funny. It says here, in another update shared by James K. Fallon, the court has ordered the SEC to provide to the court by June 16th, today, very good day I might add, 10 additional documents for in-camera review to assist the court with its decision regarding the SEC's claims of attorney-client privilege in connection with the Hinman speech. They are fighting tooth and nail for that. It tells you something is very, very wrong. Oh man, SEC, we just keep winning. The SEC keeps losing. That's the way that I like it. Now let's continue on here. Ripple is always doing something major, something big. XRP continues to grow, continues to thrive. The future couldn't look possibly better, in my humble opinion. So we're going to go here. This is on ripple.com, right? It says CBDCs, transaction efficiency and economic growth. And let's begin right here. It says a recent survey. These surveys are very important because you got to pay attention to who they're surveying. A lot of recent surveys, whether they come from Ripple or some of the banks, they're talking about executives. They're talking about people in high level places. This is who they typically are surveying. So these are impactful, in just my humble opinion. It says a recent survey from the Bank of International Settlements found that 90% of central banks are now exploring implementing central bank digital currencies, up from just 80% in 2021. It's expected that many central banks will follow the lead of the Bahamas, China, the Eastern Caribbean, Nigeria, in minting their own CBDCs. In our two most recent posts on CBDCs, we explored their potential to advance financial inclusion globally, as well as the hurdles to realizing this ideal. CBDCs and more generally digital currencies have many different applications and use cases. That's very true. Including as the core of more efficient transactions and drivers of economic growth. In fact, a survey of over 1,600 financial institution leaders globally cited using blockchain for payments as a key driver of efficiency. That is huge. A survey of over 1,600 financial institution leaders globally cited using blockchain for payments as a key driver of efficiency. In this post, we'll again evaluate the benefits of this technology relative to the challenges. Now, let me pause for a moment. 1,600 financial institutions. We know there's only a handful of bank coins. You know, and I know that they're deeply in meetings with these particular institutions. I mean, they're the only bank coins around. So you have certain offerings. You have Ripple, Stellar, we know that they're taking meetings all the time. Algorand, they're taking meetings all the time. Heck, they don't even make it a secret most of the time. They're telling you, hey, we're sitting on this panel with the government. We're having these meetings. You know, some of them are not so high key anymore. But if you look at some of the panels like the World Economic Forum, I really believe that if the YouTube community, a lot of my peers out there didn't really kick up a whole lot of dust and make a lot of noise about the World Economic Forum and Stellar being there, Ripple being there, there's a few others were there. I can't remember if it was maybe, was it Quant or Cypherium, one of them. there were so many that have been involved with the World Economic Forum, not just at this most recent Davos, but I believe that if my YouTube peers, and I'll exclude myself, even though I did speak about it, but I'll give them the glory. If they didn't kick up dust about that, make noise about that, I don't think the world will be talking about the bank coins in that way. There's still, everything is kept so quiet about the bank coins. Pay attention to that. Very, very quiet. The bank coins don't even want, most of them, like, Algorand is stepping out there because they're just dominating. They're hungry for it, But a lot of the bank coins, they're not even making noise when it comes to marketing, because it seems to me they want to keep everything real quiet. Because, listen, I don't care if the bank coins, some of them want to say, we're here for the people. Listen, they are trying to work with the banks, or else you wouldn't have the oldest bank in Europe working with, let's say, Stellar and such like that. Ripple doesn't make it a secret. It's for the banks. So I think that they're trying to keep a lot of these coins out of as much retail hands as possible. Right now, it may seem, apparently there are a lot of holders of the bank coins. That is not true whatsoever. There's only a little bit of us. So I think this is one of the reasons why, and I think other people have said this as well. I would think that this is logical. This is one of the reasons why XRP is not being listed. They were just recently listed on an exchange recently, but en masse it's not relisted, because in a way, I think this is beneficial where they want to keep it out of the hands of retail. As I said, a lot of my peers have said these same things. So let's continue on here. This is huge, 1,600. Imagine all of those financial institutions using XRP, Liquidity Hub, or Stellar, XLM, or Algorand. Think about that for a minute. Hedera is making major moves. We'll get into Hedera a little bit later in the video. Major stuff going on here. So it says here, why are CBDCs gaining traction as a way to revolutionize the current monetary system? The primary benefits of CBDCs include superior transaction efficiency as payment settlement time is reduced. We just went over a document. Maybe it was the last video that I did. And I was showing you how on payments.com, they worked with the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse. And they were saying that most executives like to use instant payments, that they wanted to expand that. But instant payments, if you didn't watch that last video, it was very impactful, by the way. But instant payments only makes up 2% of how they're issuing payments. 2% of their transactions only are settled instantly through instant payments. That leaves 98% of those payments wide open for us to take over, or to take a huge swath of it, right? And I think that we could definitely do that. That's why there's so many executives taking meetings with Ripple, with Algorand, with Stellar. Let me tell you something. I'm feeling very, very good. The future is looking very, very good. The setup is absolutely beautiful. We have a product. We are holding liquidity. We are holding literally the bridge to everything right now in our cold wallets, and they are salivating over it. And it's just literally a matter of time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Next bullet point. Technological advantages of a decentralized blockchain working in conjunction with a centralized authority that leads creation, privacy, and distribution of digital currency. See, when I hear that, you have to have something that's bridging the legacy system with the distributed ledger technologies. And across the board, by the way, because Hedera is in there and Hedera is Hashgraph. You need something to bring them all together. This is why when I hear that, I think about Quant, all right? Because they have the gateways, not bridges, because we read a recent document, right? That the banks are not so happy with bridges, because bridges have been hacked. They've been attacked. They've been vulnerable. So a bridge system is not really what they're looking for. But when you deal with Quant, you're dealing with gateways, direct gateways. Quant is not a blockchain, right? Direct gateways for the legacy system to send their fiat in right across those cryptocurrency rails into the blockchains, instant settlement, and then have that converted back to whatever and sent back across those same gateways to the legacy system, because I believe that the legacy system will probably continue to deal mostly in fiat. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Next bullet point. Financial inclusion through elimination of expensive third-party fees for cross-border payments and increased accessibility to payment channels. This is key also, because I keep saying we covered a document. Well, we cover so many documents on this channel, both on the regular videos, but mostly in the members only section. We cover so many. I have to always say that because we're getting factual information from these PDFs, from these transcripts, right? But we covered a document recently that this may be about a month ago that covered the displeasure of the central banks with how some of the fees that were being heaped on top of the new technologies, right? So what a lot of legacy system offerings are doing is they're taking or trying to conscript blockchain technology in, but still heaping on top of it or congealing with it these high fees, right? So they're not as high as before, but they're still pretty high. And the central banks are looking at this and saying to themselves, like, wait a minute, we can probably not pay any fees at all. You know, Algorand is 0.001 algo for a transaction. What is XRP? 0.001 XRP. So they're less than a penny. Why would we want to pay you more money when we could just cut you out? So this is key. The fact that the bank coins have stood firm and saying, listen, you use us directly, you're basically paying almost nothing for all of these transactions that you're going to have happen immediately. There's almost near instant finality. That's huge. That's going to bring the money. That's going to bring more commercial banks. All right. Now, here's something. Ripple continues to drop huge documents. Powerful. Listen to this, right? It says, these benefits can stimulate the economy as both businesses and consumers engage in a more efficient, affordable payment system governed by the nation's central bank. Ripple just told you what I've been saying for an entire year. They can improve the entirety of the system. It's not just Ripple. Ripple, XRP, Stellar, XLM, Algorand, Algo. They are the future. Hedera. Let me not forget to put Hedera in there. And Cello, slide Cello in there. Cello gets a spot. They just told you they can improve the entirety of the system. And right now, that's music to a lot of central banks' ears, a lot of commercial banks' ears, and a lot of governmental ears. Why? Because the world is suffering right now. Everything is all up in the air right now, burning. It's on fire. And they need a life preserver. What Ripple just said is music to any of their ears who needs a life preserver. Because a lot of the economies are drowning right now. And I've been saying the same thing. You can save money, one. You can allocate resources better. Let's say like stimulus checks, stuff like that. Do you know where they're going, who they're going to? Like they're near instant in the arrival of them, sending of them, right? Like everything is made better. You're saving more money, so now you can reallocate more money. Everything's more efficient. Everything is held accountable. If you're dealing with like, let's say Algorand, and I believe XRP can do this as well. You can use it even as a traceability protocol, something like VeChain. So now you know where everything is. Governments will not be able to resist these things when everything is ready to be up and running, right? This is why you see Stellar sitting down with so many governors. Why you see Stellar sitting down with so many in so many governmental meetings. You see Ripple on a Faster Payments Council, Ripple on the Digital Euro Association. Like you see Algorand working with MIT, right? You see them all in the universities. Like they're taking over little by little, not everything all at once. Everything happens in degrees in life, right? Little by little. It's very rare you get a meteoric change like that. Right? But this is very, very good. Go to ripple.com, or actually you can click the link. This is one of their recent tweets and read this article for yourself. It was very, very good. So then you have Algorand doing something major as usual, bringing in Banxa.com. In Banxa.com, if you go over to their website, right, it says here, we power the leading Web3 projects: Binance, KuCoin, BitMEX, Ledger, GMX, Trezor, and says more on the way. They have a whole heap of them here, right? And then it says local payments, higher conversions, more customers. So these are more on and off ramps that Algorand is continuing to bring in. They are dominating right now in every possible way, right? It says Banxa offers more global and local payment options than any other on and off ramp solution, resulting in conversion rates up to 3 times higher than credit card only solutions. These are the types of things that Algorand is bringing to the table. They're dominating Africa, dominating Latin America, muy linda, mi gente. Dominating and building corridors. They've been doing a fantastic job. So, says onboard global audiences with our extensive network of local payment solutions paired with the associated crypto licenses, right? Banxa provides you with access to the largest audience that drives the highest conversion rate. So you have all this marketing going on at Algorand, all of these corridors being built. They're working with governments. They're working with banks. Safe to say Algorand is a very good hold. That's why people love holding algo. You get to participate in governance. I think they just had something going on recently. Man, they are doing a very, very, very good job. Of course, you can't leave Hedera out. Hedera has this here in Forbes on Forbes.com. It says here, for example, this is from one of their governors, ServiceNow, one of their council members, right? They have a very powerful council over Hedera. Google, how can you expect Hedera to lose? Boeing, lose? What is lost? They're not going to lose. They're backed by some of the most major companies on the planet. Boeing, FIS, Google, ServiceNow. I mean, the list just keeps going of who is supporting Hedera Hashgraph, right? So here we have a little bit on ServiceNow. This is on Forbes.com. It says, for example, ServiceNow is one of 26 Hedera DLT operators of the Hedera Governing Council. Hedera is the leading public distributed ledger and governing body. It's designed to be faster, fairer, and more energy efficient than existing blockchains. In the Hedera DLT, the underlying data structure is not a linear chain of blocks, but a graph structure known as Hashgraph. Oh, and it's brilliant, by the way. I hope you read the white paper to know what you hold. It is so superior to blockchain that is scary. And the news hasn't gotten out there yet. It's like people haven't figured out yet that Hashgraph is light years ahead of blockchain. And people love blockchain right now, right? It's like, how much more will they love Hashgraph? The future for Hedera is very bright, by the way. It says the council's decisions occur mainly in virtual meetings. Council meeting minutes and decisions are notarized through DLT. Thus, the visibility of these activities are subject to public scrutiny. Another thing that people like, so they can hold these companies accountable to how they're using Hedera Hashgraph and know what's coming, what's going on. We saw they just had an upgrade as of recent. They've been doing a lot of things. Their marketing has kicked up. I mean, they've been doing a tremendous job in HBAR. I expect that price to fly. You see, it has good volatility when we're in somewhat of a bull market. It has very good volatility, go up and down. You know, that's for those people that like to take profits. But what it shows me is that it can take off, you know, very easily because of the people that have an interest in it. And those people like to accumulate from time to time. They do like to make money. So this is great advertisement. A lot of very high-level people like to read Forbes.com, Forbes magazine, things of that nature. So this is a great read for any of these business-minded individuals who might want to begin utilizing Hedera, right? So let's continue on here. We have a little bit about Quant. It says, is it the destiny of blockchain to become the open infrastructure? So here we have it again. I told you. These are the new financial system, but I dare say blockchain is the new global system overall. Everything tokenized, everything moving across the blockchains and let's not say blockchains, everything moving across the distributed ledger technologies, right? It says an expert panel joined the Future of Finance on May 26th to discuss how blockchain infrastructure is evolving in the all-important role of governance. The blockchain has emerged over the last 15 years as a formidable technology to transform how we interact and transact. It can enable trust, transparency, and permanence and has the potential to remove intermediaries. People hate intermediaries, so they love the idea of being able to remove them. We don't need a middleman between you and I to do anything, right? So this is one of the reasons that a lot of companies and banks love blockchain. The intermediaries have been a leech on their neck for a long time. So just always keep that in mind. It says its infrastructure comprises different networks, private, hybrid, private permissioned, and public blockchains, all used for specific purposes. To this end, many people have questioned how blockchain and its infrastructure will take shape to become a ubiquitous technology in the future. Everything will congeal together. This is where Quant comes in, to congeal everything together with the legacy system. That's what they're going to talk about here. It says, here's a question for Dominic Hobson. What is your view on blockchain interoperability, and how do you think it will develop? Martin Hargreaves says, Quant has a focus on solving blockchain interoperability. Right now, many larger blockchain projects assume that they will be the only one dominant in the future. I always thought that was very ignorant because it never happens like that. Look at the internet, right? It says Ethereum, Hyperledger, and R3 do this to a certain extent. When these blockchains talk about interoperability, they usually mean instances of their blockchain designed to be compatible with other specific blockchains. I just recently said the same thing. You can't have it be dominant when it's only interacting with another blockchain. The legacy system still runs everything. You have to be interoperable with blockchain to hash grab, all the distributed ledger technologies, and the legacy system offerings as well. Everything has to come together. That's where Quant comes in. That's why Quant is so powerful, so delicious, and why I believe, personally, this is my humble opinion, it's not financial advice, okay? But why I believe that lots of these companies and banks will be utilizing Quant as a bridgeless gateway system that provides them all the benefits that they want of the blockchains and the hash graphs, distributed ledger technologies, and none of the negatives, because they can always still bring all of that value back to their fiat currencies and back to the legacy systems where they like to hold their fiat currencies. Because a lot of that's not going to change. Some of these people are that's the way they like to do it. Okay, so we're going to stop there. We're going to pick up tomorrow, and we have a little VeChain news we're going to go over. Okay, so now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? Don't forget, click that little join button down there near the subscribe button and join the members only section. All right. And until next time, let's get to the money.